embodiment of the Burmese genocide and its impact. It's felt across the border in Bangladesh in the form of the world's largest camp.
Bedan dedu nashir mane husband bedian de shere shere ase bedan sa guri mare khalai al ma shogwa ashire de morto azari ba dar ebba sarma shede military morbegine milera tanamada muradi khalai bata de bat panikan
Dumule ture, Padale ture, when Finangania Biro, Tiboguru, Quecha Biro, Miata for it, Yamananga, Bomaleta, we dear, Bimini are a Congo law. You can eat the Kulu, Punya, Miatan.
Myanmar or Burma, my country, is a patchwork of different ethnic communities living across the different regions. The country is about twice the size of England and about 50 million people. We became nation state as a result of the British Empire dissolving itself towards the end of the Second World War. In 1947-48, about the time India was partitioned, we regained our independence. And before, we were just a cluster of feudal kingdoms.
Number 10 Downing Street, making Burma an independent state outside the British Commonwealth.
အဲ့ဒီကာလနဲ့1948 50နောက်ပိုင်းရခိုင်နေနဲ့ပြည်ကြသူတို့ရဲ့ရတဲ့ရတဲ့တိုင်းသားအခွင့်အရေးတွေမရတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်
Both Muslim Rohingyas and Rakhine Buddhists, they started independence or separatist movements.
Military government যাচ্ছে চারা মাঝারে দাজিরুম গচ্ছি কনফিউশন কোনো সহ্য করি না পারি এটা যা রেভলিউশনের মাঝে পার্টি মাঝে পার্টি করছিল হাতে ধরে মোরা করে লিয়াম বই
When the Rohingyas started fighting the government, there was war for several years, and then at the time when they reached an agreement and they stopped fighting, the Rohingyas were promised that, as citizens, they would be recognized as native.
Mustakbel, এটা যে বর্মাইয়ে যে আরারে গিয়া কর্নাল ওনজি তারায়া ইতারা আরারে সালান্ডার করে আছে আর গসাজি বর্মারে আষ্টহানি জমিন দিউম জোরা গরুমুজ দিউম বলে হইয়ারে তারা আর দেশের কি যতন যে আসিং 2008 মাঝে ওরা সালান্ডার করে বেলাই মুসলমান করে ঘুরিকারে ওরা যা দেশ বাইরে কো তোরা আইজো কই তোরা আর রাইট দিউম ওরা মাগুজু মাঙ্গজি
One of their demands was broadcast for their language. It's undeniable. The Burma Broadcasting Service, had such kind of program.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Atau hatam maye বুধবারে 5 বাজে কলন
মাছবাজিগুলো সব আছে সবাই নির্দেশ
In 1962, the army took power in a coup d'etat, and General Nguyen, he was a dictator for 26 years.
Politically and economically, he was a failure.
Nguyen had an idea that Burman would be Buddhist, that they would look like him. He wanted people not to look like Indians, and he didn't like Muslims, he didn't like Christians. So he first started by expelling foreigners, meaning all the Westerners who had been there during the British time.
And Nguyen turned to the issue of the Rohingyas, this distinct Muslim population that were so far officially recognized as an ethnic community. Nguyen's deputy, General Kinyon, chief of Nguyen's military intelligence, in his book discovered that as early as 1966, the Burmese military started to see the Rohingya as a problem.
British government ခေတ်ကာလတဲ့ကိုကဒါတွေကဒီ problem တွေကပေါ်ခဲ့တာပဲ။ဘာဆိုတော့ဟိုဘက်ကဘင်္ဂလားဒေ့ရှ်ကနေလူတွေခေါ်လာတယ်။ခေါ်လာပြီးတော့မှဒီဟာမြေတွေပေးတယ်။သို့တော်ညာလဲဟိုဘက်ကနေပြီးတော့ဘင်္ဂလားဒေ့ရှ်ဘက်ကနေဝင်လာတဲ့လူတွေကတော့အဘာလို့လက်မခံနိုင်ဘူးလေ။
The claim was that there were many illegal immigrants from Bangladesh because there was a war of independence going on. They started a military campaign which resulted in over 250,000 Rohingyas escaping to Bangladesh.
That was the very first wave of exodus of Rohingyas. That happened in 1978.
It was quite young. I still remember some things. There was a shooting by the Burmese military. Hundreds of families took shelter. And then later, everybody left. This is called Nagami Operation, King Dragon Operation. We left. I was very young, and I was put in a basket. And my another sibling was put on the other basket. My father carried. I was crying. My hands, legs were very like finger, so thin.
The 1978 wave was the direct result of centrally organized forced expulsion organized by the central government in Rangoon.
I still remember the scream of the people every day. Every day, tens of hundreds of children pass away, die without food, malnutrition, dehydration. After bilateral agreement, we were sent back to Burma. When we returned there, I see the only jungle. House is covered by jungle.
I think Nguyen had no choice because the international community had proof that these people came from Burma.
He proceeded to essentially copycat what the Nazis did to the Jews in 1938. His legal advisors come up with the citizenship law. The intention was to make sure that Rohingyas were no longer entitled to either basic rights or citizenship rights. Anyone who had not resided in Burma as natives by 1824, they could not be entitled automatic Burmese citizenship.
ဒီနေ့နိုင်ငံတိုင်းထဲမှာနိုင်ငံသားဥပဒေရှိတယ်။မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာလို့ရှိရင်1982ဥပဒေသည်မြန်မာနိုင်ငံသားဥပဒေဖြစ်တယ်။အဲဒီလိုဥပဒေတွေနဲ့
Now that is impossible because independence came in 1948, and whoever had been living in the country before that, many of the people in Myanmar, not only the Rohingya, during the British period, did not have any papers.
So they were natives, but they were falsely framed as Bengali migrants.
তো আর এখন বাংলাদেশ তো গিয়ে জানো আর এরিয়া জন্মস্থান এরিয়া ওই আর হ্যাঁ তেদতে আছি আর যে ঘর আছে ইয়ানটা আছে 1890 মেজে হ্যাঁ তেরো মসজিদ ইয়ান মেজে খনিকিয়া খনদা আছে দান সৎকা সারা আর দা আছে গ্রেট গ্র্যান্ড ফাদারে ইয়ানোর দা আছে নিজের হুসার ওত্তু আর দাদারা দাদা আছে ইয়ান গড়া বাইয়ে মসজিদ ইয়ান তন্দতি বাইন্দে ইন হে 13 জিনিস আজ্য আছে এখন ছবি আন গনে ইয়ান সাহের ঠান্ডা নেই আর বা খবর দাও ধর তুমি থম দাও আর আসলে গরমে যে রাত আছে তো শীতাই নই তো মনে অর্ধেক